The wrench slipped from Samuel's grease-stained fingers, clattering against the metal deck of the orbital station with a sound that echoed through Bay 7. He stood frozen, staring at the woman who had just walked through the airlock, scales shimmering like liquid copper under the harsh fluorescent lights, wings folded tight against her back, and holding the hand of a small child who had his eyes. Lillian, he breathed. 6 years. 6 years since the Dracon diplomatic mission had left Earth's orbit. 6 years since he'd watched her ship disappear into the void, taking with it the only person who'd ever understood why he talked to engines like they were alive, why he could feel the heartbeat of a starship through his palms. "Hello, Samuel." Her voice still carried that resonant quality, like wind through canyons. But there was something new there now. Uncertainty. Fear, even. The child, their child, his mind was screaming, peered up at him with golden eyes that held flecks of brown. Human brown. Her scales were smaller, softer than Lillian's, forming delicate patterns along her arms and neck. Small wing buds protruded from her back, still undeveloped. "This is Arya," Lillian said quietly. "Your daughter." Samuel's legs felt weak. He grabbed the edge of the half-dismantled fusion core for support, not trusting himself to speak. The station suddenly felt too small, too bright, too real. "Why?" The word came out broken. "Why now? Why not?" "Because she's dying." The world tilted. Samuel forced himself to focus on Lillian's face, on the way her inner eyelids kept flickering, a sign of distress he remembered from their time together. She was terrified. "The hybrid genetics," Lillian continued, her voice carefully controlled. "The Draken Council said it would be fine. They said human and Draken DNA were compatible enough. But her immune system, it's attacking itself. She needs human bone marrow. She needs her father." Samuel looked down at Arya again. The little girl was watching him with an expression far too solemn for someone so young. How much did she understand? How much had she suffered already? "You could have told me," he said, anger finally breaking through the shock. 6 years, Lillian. 6 years I could have known her, been there for her, for you. The council forbade it. Lillian's composure cracked, her voice rising. "Do you think I wanted to leave? Do you think I wanted to raise her alone, watching her get sicker? Knowing that the one person who could help was a universe away?" Tears, actual tears, streamed down her scaled cheeks. Dracon rarely cried. "I broke every law of my people coming here. If the council finds out, I'll never see her again." The anger drained from Samuel as quickly as it had come. He'd spent 6 years fixing things. Ships, stations, lives. 6 years making broken things whole again. But he'd never fixed the hole Lillian had left in his chest. And now, looking at his daughter, fighting for her life, he realized that some broken things were worth any risk to repair. He knelt down, bringing himself to Arya's eye level. Up close, he could see his mother's nose, his father's stubborn chin, hidden beneath the scales. She was a miracle, a living bridge between two species, two worlds. "Hey there, little star," he said softly, using the nickname he'd given to Lillian's favorite constellation. "I'm your dad." Arya tilted her head, studying him with that unsettling intensity. Then, in a small voice that wavered between human speech and Dracon harmonics, "Mama said you fix things that are broken." The words hit him like a physical blow. His vision blurred, and before he could stop himself, tears were streaming down his face. Samuel Chen, who hadn't cried when his parents died, who hadn't cried when Lillian left, who'd built walls around his heart thick enough to withstand the vacuum of space, broke. "Yeah," he managed, pulling both Arya and Lillian into his arms. "Yeah, I fix things, and I'm going to fix you, I promise." Arya's small arms wrapped around his neck, her scaled skin warm against his. Lillian's wings enfolded them both, creating a cocoon of copper and flesh, scales and tears. "I'm so sorry," Lillian whispered against his shoulder. "I'm so sorry, Samuel." "We'll figure it out," he said, meaning it with every fiber of his being. "The testing, the procedure, I'll do whatever it takes. And after?" He pulled back to look at her. "After, we're not doing this alone anymore. Any of us. I don't care what the council says." Lillian's eyes widened. "They'll come for you. For both of us." Samuel smiled, fierce and determined. "Let them try. I'm a human mechanic who fell in love with a dragon woman. I fixed a derelict colony ship with spare parts and duct tape. I survived 3 hull breaches and a reactor meltdown." He looked down at Arya, whose eyes were finally showing something like hope. "I'm not losing my family again." That night, as medical droids worked to match his marrow to Arya's needs, Samuel held his daughter's hand in the sterile white room. Lillian sat on the other side of the bed, her wings stretched protectively over them both. "Tell me about her," he said quietly. "Everything. I want to know everything." And as Lillian spoke, of first words and first flights, of stubborn independence and gentle kindness, of a little girl who loved stars and engines just like her parents, Samuel understood what it meant to be truly human. It meant loving fiercely enough to cry. It meant fighting for what mattered. It meant that sometimes the most important things to fix weren't machines at all. It meant family.